The story begins with an average university student named Yoichi. Yoichi is asleep peacefully when he is suddenly woken up by a pretty girl with two huge watermelons. Yoichi stutters as he struggles with what to call the bodacious-looking woman. This is not the first time this has happened, as the woman chastises him for not remembering to call her mom while he was staying here. The woman's name is Yadori Hana, but she is, in fact, not Yoichi's real mother. She leaves the room after calling him down for breakfast, but gives a naughty smile when she notices Yoichi's pickaxe is already awake. Yoichi is embarrassed and quickly covers his PP as he thinks about how he ended up in this situation in the first place. That it's quite simple. You see, exactly 24 hours ago, Yoichi Sakamori, in his first year of university, lost everything and became homeless on the spot. It's such a ridiculous start to the manga that his friend, Yadori Itsuki, calls him and asks if Yoichi started the fire himself. Of course, this isn't the case, and Yoichi begs Itsuki to let him crash at his apartment. Itsuki isn't pleased with this idea because he wants to be having horizontal activities with his girlfriend alone in his apartment, and having Yoichi will truly disrupt that part of his university life. But after more pathetic begging from Yoichi, Itsuki eventually agrees to set him up at his parents' house, close to the university. Yoichi arrives at the address and is surprised to find that the house is a Japanese-style guest house, which is surprising to find so far away in the countryside. Just as he's about to enter and talk to the owner, he is greeted by two big bazookas of happiness. "Honey, you're back," says the gifted woman, welcoming him with her tiny voice. This is the first time he's meeting the bodacious woman, and Yoichi thinks there is a mistake somewhere, as he is only a friend of the owner's son. But soon, the woman bursts into laughter, revealing it was all an act to tease him and rile up his manly desires. Yoichi is shocked by her bold, over-the-top antics, but stops to admire her feminine tanned skin. He heats up, barely keeping his virgin thoughts in check. He stops and introduces himself properly this time. Hana is impressed with his manners and casually wonders aloud if his banana is as polite as his face. She introduces herself as the landlady of the guest house and explains that the guest house is mostly empty, so Yoichi is free to crash like a desperate freeloader for a while if he wants. Yoichi is surprised to find out that the young woman is the landlady of the guest house, as he was expecting it to be Itsuki's mother. He asks if it is possible to meet and introduce himself to Itsuki's mother too. "Haha, I'm the mom," Hana squeals, revealing that the mother is, in fact, her. Her name is Yadori Hana. She's 34 years old. A young mother and a young landlady. She's 34? Yoichi's virgin brain struggles to comprehend that a woman can still look good above 30. Hana mentions she's not Itsuki's biological mother, but she's still a parent. Before she can elaborate, Yoichi receives a call from his own mother, but for some reason, he doesn't pick up. Hana continues showing him around the big ASF guest house and leaves him to unwind before dinner. Yoichi calls his friend, Itsuki, and scolds him for not explaining the situation properly and threatens to leave right away. But Itsuki wants to talk about something else: women. Itsuki insists that the type of girl Yoichi likes is inside the guest house. Of course, Yoichi can't believe this because he's a depraved, hopeless otaku, and the kind of girls he likes don't exist in real life. But Yoichi soon changes his mind after Itsuki sends a spicy photo of a tanned woman with two ballistic melons. The woman and her melons, of course, bears a striking resemblance to the young landlady he just met, Hana. Without wasting any time, he rushes to look for the bodacious woman and catches her in a special, sweaty position. The woman thinks Yoichi wants to take a bath and apologizes to him, as she isn't finished scrubbing the bathroom. Yoichi struggles to hold in his raging pickaxe and offers to help her clean. Meanwhile, he wonders about the photo he received, thinking that Hana possibly couldn't be the same person in the photo at dinner. Yoichi shamelessly confesses that he has no money to pay for the meal and no way he could afford the accommodation because all he had in his wallet were his broken dreams. "Don't worry about that. It's rare for Itsuki to invite his friends to the house, so let me at least do this much," chuckles Hana. Yoichi thanks the heavens for the kindness of strangers because he would have been totally screwed otherwise. Yoichi gulps down everything at the table while restlessly staring at the woman's bazookas. Somehow, Hannah seems to enjoy watching him stuffing his face and watching her melons that Yoichi's mother calls again for the second time, and like the first time, he allows it to ring without answering. But Hannah is the type who keeps poking her nose into others' businesses, so she answers without hesitation. She has a nice chat with Yoichi's mom and explains the situation in a lighthearted fashion while Yoichi watches with terror. Later, Hannah hands him the phone and asks Yoichi why he wouldn't answer his mom. Yoichi dodges the question, but Hannah doesn't push him, stating that she also has feelings of estrangement towards his friend, Itsuki, as she is not his real mother either. Her honesty compels Yoichi to reveal some things about himself that it turns out that the virgin Yoichi is holding on to feelings of guilt, as he couldn't live up to his parents' expectations regarding his studies and even failed his entrance exams to the school of his choice. Then, he ran away to attend the local university in this countryside and lost everything, that he feels his parents will continue to support him regardless, and that burden was bearing down on him. This is when the woman gives him a small taste of her perfumed, bouncy pumpkins. She explains to him that the guest house they are in is by no means expensive, luxurious, or fancy, but it exists because it's a safe spot away from the worries of the world. She explains that as the landlady of the guest house, she wants to be the kind of person who can lift people's anxiety and problems, especially Yoichi's. "If you're too embarrassed to call me mom, at least call me by my first name," says Hannah. The virgin Yoichi can't help himself, of course, and agrees to call her mom. He feels his energetic pickaxe rising once more. After dinner, Yoichi summons the courage to ask Hannah about the photo he received from Itsuki, since the picture looks so much like her. Do you know this girl? I heard she's staying at this guest house," he starts. Hannah looks like she's seen something traumatic and asks Yoichi where he got the photo. After Yoichi explains, she teases him for being the nasty virgin that he is and wanting a wild girl with tongue piercings. However, she suspiciously explains that the woman in the picture is only her niece and bids Yoichi good night. Yoichi is disappointed and angry with his friend for telling him such a bold-faced lie. But in the last panel, Hannah flashes her tongue to reveal a piercing just like in the picture. The next day, the virgin Yoichi spends his morning looking at a couple of pictures and fooling himself that he could have actually gotten a girlfriend if his apartment hadn't burned down. He doesn't realize that the bodacious woman has been watching his depraved antics and is shocked once again. She casually asks Yoichi if college students have horizontal activities all the time. Of course, Yoichi denies it, but she's asking the wrong person, as we all know that Yoichi is a hopeless virgin. But Hannah doesn't know any better because it looks like she never attended college in the first place, because she took over the guest house right after high school while raising Itsuki. It's time for Yoichi to be heading to class, but like the absolute lazy virgin he is, he doesn't feel like going to college today. So, Hannah invites him somewhere else out on the beach. He stands just a few inches from the bodacious woman who changes her clothes without paying attention to him. Once again, Yoichi's pickaxe goes into overdrive as he wonders if this kind of relationship is normal with his friend's aunt. He contemplates the events of the past few days, as he had never in his wildest dreams imagined being close to any woman so soon. The bodacious woman is done changing, and he turns over to look with anticipation on his mind. But instead of a bikini, he saw that the woman was wearing a traditional Japanese wetsuit. She explains that this outfit will help her catch fish to be prepared at the guest house. His disappointment is immeasurable, and his day is almost ruined. But after looking closer, he can see the woman's bouncy balls of love even more clearly in the wetsuit. In fact, it's even better than a bikini. After hours of fishing, they catch some good fish to eat. The meal is so tasty that Yoichi begins to reconsider his pathetic life. When the woman senses he is feeling better, she suggests with a smile if they'd return to college immediately. Meanwhile, Yoichi wonders if she did everything today to make him feel better. After getting to class, Yoichi is approached by a shy, reserved-looking girl who invites him to a party after class. Of course, Yoichi is excited to receive an invitation. A party off this scale means he would be able to make new friends and, more importantly, maybe even get a girlfriend. If he doesn't attend now, he might have problems making friends in the future. However, the bodacious woman from the guest house is still on his mind, as she told him to return before curfew. If it's a choice between the flat, shy girl in front of him and the woman with the watermelons. It's an obvious choice. So, Yoichi turns down the invitation. Asterisk at dinner. Yoichi sulks over the fact that he had to return home so quickly because of the woman's curfew rules. Feeling bad, the woman called Han offers to keep the virgin company for the rest of the night and takes him to a nearby snack bar. The virgin Yoichi is happy until he realizes that the snack bar is an actual bar, which is bad because he is a minor, and he isn't legally allowed to drink yet. Inside the bar is Hannah's high school friend, an older woman with tired eyes. There are also some pervy old men begging Hannah for a drink. Hannah politely refuses, while the girl with tired eyes looks curiously at Yoichi, thinking there's something familiar about him. Hannah asks the tired girl to stop joking around and orders some straight alcohol. Hannah introduces the tired girl to Yoichi as her longtime friend from high school, Rin-chan. Yoichi revises his expectations of older women as Rin-chan looks exceedingly young for her age. However, she is the complete opposite of the outgoing personality of Hannah-chan. Yoichi is desperate and asks Rin-chan for some advice on dating girls in the future, to which Rin-chan replies, kindness and compassion. An obvious answer, and not exactly the secret Yoichi was hoping for. Rin-chan continues by asking why Yoichi keeps an empty space between him and Hannah-chan at the bar. Yoichi shamelessly reveals his virgin nature, as he is uncomfortable with touching bodies with the bodacious woman. Hannah-chan says nothing for a while before asking a surprising question. What do you think is the most important element in love, Yoichi-kun? Huh? Isn't it the face? Yoichi asks like a bumbling idiot. The bodacious woman bursts into wild laughter, calling out Yoichi's hopelessness, while Rin-chan tells him to give up on love if that was his thinking. Yoichi is embarrassed, wondering if these two wild, unfiltered women in front of him actually worked in the service industry. The old men in the back laugh at him too, telling him it's all about the money and the body type. Hannah-chan calms down and explains that the face matters a bit as it is what starts everything, but body type is incredibly important. As an example, she reminds Yoichi that he was very interested in that woman from the photo because of her incredible pumpkins. Hannah changes the subject and wonders if her son, Itsuki, has a girlfriend too, lamenting that she knows nothing about him or his university. Yoichi feels bad and offers to tell her more about Itsuki since they're very good friends. Hannah thinks that Yoichi is shamelessly hitting on her, so she decides to do something a little naughty. She looks at him with a smirk and crosses over to the empty seat, seductively trailing her fingers over the table and looking Yoichi directly in the eye. She chuckles as the virgin Yoichi's cheeks become red hot. Then ever so slowly, she carefully peels off her massive basketballs. Here you go, she mouths in a wet voice. Yoichi swallows a massive lump in his throat as he and the other old men examine the fresh watermelons. He doesn't know if his pickaxe can handle such a tremendous load. What's wrong? Don't you want to touch it? Don't you like my footballs, Yoichi-kun? Yoichi examines the watermelons closer and feels his hammer about to burst like a waterfall. However, this is still a joke being played by the merciless woman. Yoichi's virgin's lust once again turns to disappointment. Hannah advises that if Yoichi wants a girlfriend, he should consider looking at a girl's eyes instead of her succulent footballs. Yoichi is embarrassed that Hannah knew he's been examining the heavy watermelons all this time. Meanwhile, Rin reassures him that since the bodacious woman is looking after him, he's having a better experience than all his friends at college. As Yoichi looks on at the curvy woman again, he wonders if that statement is actually true. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment bouncy watermelons to get more videos like these in the future.